Hey, welcome to the Gig Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie Taylor. Now, my guest today is Juanita Tippins. Now, Juanita is a singer, songwriter, vocal producer, and arranger. She's a poet. She's a mum. She's co-founder of Sydney band Sweet As. She's one half of the Confection team with Josh Begley. She's toured the world with Joe Bonamassa. She's toured with the brand new Heavies. She's sung with the Hoodu Gurus, Cold Chisel, Marcia Hines, just to name a few, and she's got some new music coming out soon. So always a great hang with Juanita. This is episode 133, Juanita Tippins. Here we go. I think we're rolling. Juanita Tippins, how's it going?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. I've actually been here for a couple of hours now.
Yeah.
And had an awesome feed and entertained by the kids. And we've got that hook in our head.
I know.
Since I've been broken.
Can't know we're going to be dreaming about that now.
No, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be finally talking to you. And
finally.
Yeah.
Been trying to plan this for a while.
For a while, eh?
Yeah.
And, all different reasons why it hasn't happened, but
it's all right. We're here now.
Yeah. So, how's the last few months been? Things are starting to kick off, sort of gig wise, and we won't talk about what went on during COVID because everybody knows what happened and people weren't working and all that sort of stuff. But we're on the flip side of that now, and things are looking rosy.
Yeah.
And, so what's been going on?
Actually, I've had a good year. Like we were talking about before. I had a few tours already this year, which I was really happy about. I think I was telling you before, the last COVID lockdown that we had, I was lucky enough to get a job arranging vocals for Marcia Hines' next album, which is a gospel album.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Yep.
I just sat here like a mad professor with my little setup, do all these crazy, vocal arrangements for the choir, for gospel choir. So that was fun, and we finally toured that.
Yeah.
How
long was the tour? Just a regional?
Yeah, it was over 3 weeks, but it was really just, excuse me, it was really just the vivid here.
Yep.
But obviously we had to rehearse for it,
Okay.
So in Sydney we used the Mount Druitt Choir, who are great. They're amazing. They were so good. So we used them for the Vivid shows, which was at St. Stephen's, I think it's called, in the city on Macquarie.
Oh, not sure.
Can't remember. Beautiful church. We did shows there. And then we did the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. Mm-hmm. We were there. And while we were there, we did that. And so we picked up another choir there. And then we on the third week, we went to Hobart and we did the Festival of Voices and the ABC thing.
Yeah, okay.
The live ABC thing.
Yeah, right.
So, excuse me. So that was really great. I felt really emotional, because it was like you've been working on something for so long, then finally kind of can hear it how it's intended.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And you were telling me earlier too, like all that, rehearsing and stuff you're doing at home here.
Oh, you was recording?
While you're doing recording, you made a whole lot of new
I know.
religious friends in the building.
It's so funny because everyone's locked in, So I live in apartments and I am like recording all these parts and it's all Jesus this, Jesus that. Yeah. And I'd go out and I'd be like, oh my gosh, my neighbours are like, they're like, here she goes singing about Jesus again.
Yeah.
And I went out to put my rubbish in the bin and the little old lady's like, bless you, darling, bless you. I was like, so little old ladies in the building love me. They think I'm blessing in their building.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah.
And the other tour, which was really, really cool, and I got a buzz when I saw it sort of pop up on Facebook, one of the bands that I really, really loved, during the late 90s and into the 2000s was the Brand New Heavies.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, that was
So
fun.
how did that come about? Did you have any connection to those guys?
Yeah, I actually
Okay.
got hired by the band.
Yeah, right.
So the two, one of the boys, so there's two boys that own the band.
Yeah.
Andrew Levy,
He's the bass player.
the bass player, and Simon, who is the guitarist.
Yep.
And Andrew is a big fan of the Confection stuff that I do. You know,
Oh,
that
really?
project?
Yeah.
So I have as you know, I have a project with Joshua Beagley.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for years now.
Yeah.
You know about that
Yeah,
project called Confection. It's all kind of 80s rare
pop.
groove kind
It's
of.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a big fan of that.
Wow,
So
okay.
that's how I was on his radar. So
right.
they were planning their Australian tour to come here, and their singer who they're using at the moment, she's pregnant, and there's
Yeah.
something with her visa or something. She couldn't get her visa approved to come here, so he reached out to me and asked me if I would like to do it, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. I love the Brand New Heavies, you know. So it was fun. They're great people. Like I had a really good time on that tour.
But you also said they're a bit crazy.
Oh, they're completely mad.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah. No, but in a good way. You
of
know,
course,
they're just completely mad. You
Yeah.
know, like so much fun. Like I think our stomach was so sore from laughing all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, but they were heaps of fun.
Yeah.
Like great musicians too, you know. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'll go back the first time I ever saw you and met you, and it was very, very early days of Sweet As. You might not remember this, but it would have been...
I would have met you through Rafferty and Shane, right?
Yeah. So it was before I had my oldest girl, so it would have been maybe 13, 14 years ago.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And
Yeah.
Rafferty called me up and says, "Oh, this band I'm playing in their
I
drummer."
think you filled in for us
I
too.
did, At the Bayview.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
gosh, that's ages ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I just remember, I mean, I don't think you were there right at the start. I think you'd come from another gig or something, but anyway, you might have turned up at the second set.
Yeah.
And you walked in and said hello or whatever, but I just saw you get up on stage, you just set your stuff down, you had your mark,
Yeah.
head back straight, and I'm just going, man, that's conviction right there. And you know, this chick's got mana. Like,
Oh, thank you,
yeah.
brother.
So that was the first
Thank
time
you,
I
brother.
actually met you, and I had an inkling of the band because
Sweet As, yeah.
before Sweet As, Rafferty and I was playing with Rafferty and a couple other guys in this band called Tribe. Yeah, Rafferty sort of stopped doing the Tribe thing and went off. He said, "I'm doing this new thing."
Yeah.
This guy's called Sweet As, and the rest is history. Hey, that's been a
I know.
hell of a ride, that band,
Yeah.
and through that sort of heyday. I mean, you guys were playing so much.
Oh my gosh, we were doing like between 4 and 7 gigs a week.
Yeah, yep.
It was insane. Like
Residencies at the piano bar,
and there were residencies
yeah,
too.
that's
so
right.
like there'd be like say 4 residencies running at the same time.
Right.
Then we would have the extra gigs that will come in.
Functions and weddings.
And would be going from one gig to another. Like
Yeah.
it was quite common for us to just have 2 or 3 gigs in a day. You know, it's insane.
It is insane.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of tequila consumed in that
Yeah.
period.
Well, I used to tag along with Rafferty to Rock Lily
Yeah.
every now and then, and right before everyone went on stage was up to the back bar and the massive tray of shots.
It's ridiculous. How any of us are alive right now is beyond me. But in saying that, we then had the saying that tequila fixes everything.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh, my voice is so tired. Have a tequila. You know? Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. Have a tequila.
Have a tequila.
So it was, man, those were good days though.
Yeah.
Piano room, and we used to do that, Rock Lily. All of it was great. Yeah, we had a good run. I mean, we're still going now. Still got gigs now. But, you know, everyone's doing other things as well. So we're not working like how we used to before COVID, you know. So, but still going.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was going to get to this a little bit later on, but you were telling me before about another little project that you've got going on. You're writing a book of poetry.
Oh yeah. So
let's we'll talk about that now.
I write I write a lot of poetry. So I have this. Do you want me to tell the story about how I got published?
Sure.
It's getting published. A publishing company picked up my book. So the book is called I'm Saltwater, and it's Polynesian-inspired poetry, And my friend, she was at a author's seminar, kind of retreat thing, and there was a guy who got up, and he's from this big publishing company. He was doing a talk, and he went and talked to her.
Oh, the cat.
Oh my God, I cannot believe she's pissing on the counter.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to kill her. Anyway, I'll fix that later.
Fix it later. Yeah.
So she went and talked to him, and long story short, she showed him one of my poems and said she's looking for publishing, because I did look into self-publishing, but it just seemed like a lot of work. So I was hoping, I just thought, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, divine timing, and this happened just before I left on the Brand New Heavies tour.
Right.
I get a phone call from my girlfriend, and she's like, I met this guy, I showed him your poem, one of your poems. He has this big publishing company, so he's really interested. He's been looking for someone that does what you do anyway. So I was like, that's brilliant. So so he got in touch with me, and I sent my manuscript over, and he loves it. So it's getting published.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited. Obviously, there's still some things that need to happen before it gets published. Like I have a really good friend of mine, Georgia Masters, she's a Polynesian girl too, who's doing all the art. The art's beautiful. The artwork's beautiful.
Yeah, you showed me one.
Yeah, and I showed you one, and it's really beautiful. And then to go with, because I write quite visually anyway, so it makes sense to have art with the poetry.
Yeah.
I just want to create something beautiful. Beautiful to look at, beautiful to read, something beautiful that represents our culture, and just like I was saying to you before, it's like, it's kind of a shame that a lot of our young people are losing touch with their culture. Like, maybe this might, I hope that my poetry might inspire them to learn more, because, I have a lot of, in my poetry, there's a lot of references to gods and goddesses and our mythology and the elements and things like that. So hopefully it might inspire them to look more into our culture and see the beautiful parts. And for people who don't know anything about Polynesian culture, it might inspire them to learn more about us. I think my dream is that to close the gap or the divide between people based on biases. You know what I mean? So that So some of my poetry about things that happen to everybody, but just through the lens of someone who's Polynesian. You know what I mean? The explanations will be something to do with elements or gods and, things like that. So in actual fact, the whole idea is that we're all basically the same. We're all the same, we all have joy, we all feel joy, love, hope, in this lifetime. But, it's like encouraging people to learn about each other's cultures and see the similarities, as opposed to seeing the differences all the time. That's my thing with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. Congratulations.
I love it. Yes. Yeah. I'm so happy.
Can't wait to see the final.
I know. I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, great. Awesome. All right, let's roll it right back to early days now and how it all sort of began for you. You were telling me you were born in New Zealand, but you spent a lot of time in Tonga as well,
when I was young.
When you're young,
before I started primary school.
Yep. Okay. So, which part of New Zealand?
Auckland.
Yep.
South Auckland.
South Auckland.
Yeah, I grew up there.
Yep.
Mangere.
Yeah. Okay. Musical family?
Yes. Everyone's
musical. Okay.
Yeah. You either sing or you dance, or you do something, or your art, and of course you got the sporty ones.
Okay.
You know how it rolls.
Yeah.
Well, most Polynesian families think are like that. You're either musical or you're sporty, or you're both.
When did you realise, or when did your parents realise that you could sing?
Well, if you ask my mum, she'll tell you that that I sang first.
Okay.
Like I actually sang before I even spoke.
Okay.
You know.
Yep.
But that's not surprising, really. You know, like my house is. When I was growing up, is basically like my house, like tonight. You know, everyone's singing, playing. You know, everyone. Oh, look, Auntie, look at this new song.
Well, let's tell people what happened tonight then.
Okay. So Steve comes over. I say to him, won't you, he rings me to do this thing tonight that we're doing now. Yeah. And I say to you, come and have a kai with us, you know, come and have something to eat. So we eat. And then after that, all the young ones are here. So it's my daughters and my niece that lives with me and my other niece and my daughter's partner. They're all musical and they're all just, you know, they all just gravitate to hear, and I hear all the time. They're like, oh, the other night we wrote this great country song. So me and Steve are like, okay, cool. Well, after dinner, you know, you guys can do the clean up, and then after that you guys can play the song for us. So one's on the guitar, right?
Yeah.
One's on the guitar and they all sing this song. And I don't know about you, Steve, but I was like
tearing up.
I was like and I was videoing them and going, don't cry, don't cry. Yeah. Oh, it was so beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah, it really was.
It was so beautiful.
I'll have that hook in my head for a while.
I know, it was so beautiful. So, yeah, but basically that's what happens here.
Yep.
I grew up like that.
Yep.
So my house was always full of people when I was growing up. All the uncles were always sitting around playing guitar, and, you know what I mean, and singing songs. And we had a Polynesian group. They used to go and do resorts and events, and, you know, things like that for extra money. So there was always something happening. There's either dance rehearsals, or, you know, choir rehearsals for church, or there's all the uncles just sitting around jamming like that, you know, like writing songs or just jamming old school songs. So you're just around it all the time. So as a child, it's not surprising that I would sing first.
Yep.
You know, I think it's quite normal. So I always sing, you know. I think I've always, there's no, you know, you ask a singer, when did you start? What's the story of when you started singing? Yeah. I don't have one. That is my story.
Well, that is your story.
Yeah, that is my story.
Yeah.
I don't have like some light bulb moment when I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sing. You know what I mean? I don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was always just part of my DNA.
Yeah.
Or just part of who I was.
Yep.
So yeah, that's that. And then the poetry came after.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the poetry came probably maybe when I started high school. Started to write a lot of poetry. Just before I started high school. By then, I'd learned how to speak English.
Okay. Yeah, so let's stay back a little bit on. So yeah, you said you were born in Auckland, New Zealand, and then before you went to primary school,
I would travel a lot with my grandmother.
You travel with your grandmother,
which is in Polynesian culture quite common as well.
Yep.
You know, the grandparent takes the eldest child and just travels everywhere with them, you know.
Yeah. But we're talking about overseas, Tonga, Fiji.
Tonga and Fiji. Like she was always there.
Yep.
She was always going back and forth from there, so I'd always go with her. And then obviously I had to stay put when I started primary school because of starting school.
Yep.
So the uncles, they were all my babysitters because my mum and my grandma and the mamas would do day shift at this factory they used to work at, and the uncles would do the night, you know, because they had all immigrated obviously from the islands.
At the same factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All this Crown Pottery.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we had mean plates growing up. All our plates and cups, man, we had the meanest. It was so flash. We had the flashest like crockery ever, man. It was like, wow, look at all the plates because they got it from work.
Yeah.
You know, we had an onion in the fridge, but we had the meanest crockery. Actually, depend. And so, so they all used to work at the same factory. It was actually quite funny. So they weren't like my babysitters. So they'd always be playing guitar and singing, and you know what I mean. They'd always be doing that.
Yep.
So what was the point of this?
No, I was going to ask you, like when you were in Tonga and when you were in Fiji,
right.
You would have had that music.
Oh, that was around
as well. That was around
but
as well.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
Yeah, I was too young then.
Okay,
this is all before I started primary school.
Okay, right, gotcha.
But of course, then I just know from what my mum told me that, you know, because obviously my grandma didn't start travelling with me until I was about 3.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was still at home when I was a baby.
All right, gotcha.
till about 2, maybe 2 or 3. So by that stage, you start talking. I sang first.
Okay.
You know, she's like, oh, no, you're always just singing. The uncles will be playing something, you'd be singing away, you know.
Yep.
And then I started talking.
Right.
Then they couldn't shut me up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were still talking in Tongan?
Only, yeah. I could only speak Tongan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I only spoke Tongan because they all spoke Tongan. I mean, English was second language for them.
Okay.
So, plus my great-grandparents are still alive. So, you know, they didn't know how to speak English at all.
Right.
At home, there was just no reason to speak English.
Yep.
You know, they only speak English when they go out to work or stuff like that. So no one spoke English at home. So I would only speak Tongan. And then, then I started school. Yeah, so when I started primary school, I couldn't speak a word.
Yeah.
I could say 3 phrases. It's you, it's me, what happened?
And how often would you use those phrases
All
for
the
everything?
time, for everything, because they would be looking at me like, bleep, 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 and I'd be like, "Is you?" Which means is what is it? Do you need something?
Yeah.
Or okay, it's me. And then I'm like, okay. And if I'm really stuck, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, with the hands, what happened?
Yeah. Was it me? Was it me?
Was it me?
Yeah.
It was quite funny. They were my go-to phrases.
Yeah.
I specifically remember doing that just because I was like, they're like, I don't know what they're saying, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit traumatizing because, you know, you're being dropped off to school and nobody speaks, you know, like everyone's speaking some other language.
Yep.
So you're like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, what English words do I know? It's you, it's me, what happened?
Yeah, let's roll with that.
Yeah.
You also said you had a Māori auntie.
Oh, yeah. So I had, so growing up, I had like one of my uncles married to a Māori woman at the time. And across the road, as I went into high school, across the road, my mum had a really good friend, Auntie Anne. So she lived across the road, and me and her daughter, she had a daughter called Juanita as well. You've met Juanita?
Have I?
Yeah, the other Juanita.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so me and her were really tight. So she actually is quite interesting because, and Auntie Anne is really into her Māori tanga, you know. She's really great. And so a lot of times Juanita would speak Māori and I'd speak. We had this thing that we would do when we go out and we didn't want anyone to understand what we were saying. I would speak Tongan to her and she would speak Māori back. And we literally could understand each other. You know, and in the beginning it was that, you know, when we were younger, I'd speak Tongan to her and she'd speak Māori back and she would learn. So she actually has learnt to speak Tongan.
From that. Yeah.
From that. And I've learnt Māori and she's learnt Tongan from that. I mean, obviously she's more fluent in te reo than she is in Tongan, but she can navigate through Tongan really easy.
Yeah.
Understand anything I say to her in Tongan, you know, like that. And I'm the same with Māori. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's really, we've got some funny stories.
That's cool,
my
yeah,
gosh.
I can imagine.
Especially because we both moved here around the same time.
Okay.
And from New Zealand to here, to Australia. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
We would go out and literally just do that all the time.
Yep.
Just speak in language.
That's funny. All right, still back in New Zealand then, you gone up through primary school. So when did you move to Australia?
I think it was mid-90s.
Yeah, about the same time as me. So
about
you did your high school in New Zealand?
Yeah, I finished high school and then I came. So, it was probably mid-90s.
Yep. Yeah. So, still back in New Zealand, did you get into... Were you playing in bands at that stage?
No, just...
still doing the family...
Just the family stuff.
Yeah.
So, I would sing for my uncle's bands, you know. They used to... You know, the uncles used to have their island bands. You know. They would do all the country songs like, you know, Linda Ronstadt, all that, Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
They love all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we used to do all the church stuff. So, you know, churches all had the choirs, you know, the Tongan choirs, and then you had the other choir, you know, the English choir singing English songs.
Yep.
And so just basically, and because we had the Polynesian group that used to do all the, you know, and we all had to sing. You dance and sing, you know. So it was that. So, basically that's all I did. Oh, except stuff for school. But that was it until I moved here. Yeah. So, I mean, not that was it. It was quite a lot. But
yeah, gotcha.
But it was good training ground, you know? Like it was really good. I learned how to sing harmonies from my family, you know. That's kind of a natural skill set now. But
You were saying earlier too, before we started recording, that helped you with the vocal arrangements for the Marcia show.
When I got that gig to do the vocal arrangements for Marcia's album, gospel album, I was like, this is great. All the church stuff is paying
coming
off.
back to
you
me,
know, all the harmonies and all the church stuff is you know, paying off. I can, you know. So it's been it really was helpful for that. I think too it's such an important skill set to be able to, it's its own skill set in its own to be able to do harmonies. Like I mean, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Some people go, oh, you know, why do you do so much BVs for people? And I was like, because I can.
Because you can,
and not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
And it's a skill set that I'm glad, that I appreciate, that I have, you know, and I love doing it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much fun. There's so many different ways to arrange vocals for a song. There's so many, the possibilities are endless. You know, there's so many there's so many options.
Yep, gotcha.
You know, so just you can listen to it. And listen to a song. Say if someone says, "I want BVs on this," but you can do what you want, which is basically what happened with
the Marcia thing.
like,
Cool.
Okay, we just want it to sound good because they're like gospel songs that exist, but they just want a different spin on them. And then I'll be like, okay. And some of it, she knew what she wanted. You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, I want it. Some of it, she was like, yeah, just you know. So I'll just put down heaps of ideas, and she'll tell me what she doesn't like, what she does like. That sounds cool, but you just come up with all these ideas. It's so much fun, you know. To me, that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice to get a job, to get paid to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times you go into a session or a gig, and sometimes they just expect you to do it, to arrange the vocals. Do you know?
And that wasn't obviously part of the brief when you took the gig. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh no. It just means it's just an expectation now. It's like
Okay.
Oh, I mean, sometimes you do a gig, and so you just do the big tours. Sometimes you do those tours, and they've got songs that exist already, but you're going to do live versions, you know, BV wise.
Yep.
And a lot of times you just work it out. You have to work it out on the spot, you know, or sometimes for sessions even, they expect you to figure out something.
Okay.
You know.
And that's what you're getting called up for, because they know you can.
Sometimes,
you can do that.
yeah.
Yep.
But so it was actually nice to actually be asked to given the time to come up, not doing it on the fly.
Yep.
Given the time to come up with some interesting vocal arrangements and being paid for it.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for trusting me first. And thank you for honouring that I have that skill set. You know, I think that was really important for me anyway. For me it was.
So do you think more will come from that?
I hope so.
If not from Marcia, was that skill set exposed to other people that may...
well, the album's not released yet.
Oh, right, okay.
But it will be soon.
Yeah.
So we just kind of pre-talk.
Make sure that name's there.
Oh, no, they give me credits.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
And they were amazing, though. Like, because Joe Akari is the MD, and him and Stu, like the three of us, Stu Hunter, the three of us worked a lot on the arrangements together. I mean, they did mainly music, I did mainly vocals, but together it was a good team thing. They were so great. And it was Joe's proposal that I do it.
Okay.
You know, so I'm thankful to him for doing that.
Because Joe's been looking after Marcia for a while, right?
Yeah. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is,
He's just such an incredible
drummer.
drummer.
Yeah, I've had him on the podcast.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, great.
I have so much love for him. And his wife, Leah.
Yep.
They're just so lovely. And, you know, he's just, I don't know how he does it. He just has so much.
Just wired like that.
I know, he's just wired like that. He's got so much going on all at the same time, and he just manages to get it all done. It's incredible. Yeah, so, yeah, I hope so. I hope I get more jobs like that. The gospel thing, though, is fun. You know, gospel is easy for me. Not saying it's easy, but it's fun. It's fun to do, you know.
Is it like as a drummer, when someone says gospel drumming, that automatically tells you that it's full on, it's all out, lots of fills, lots of notes.
Yeah.
Obviously playing within a framework. Now, gospel vocal, when you've been given this gig, knowing that, you know, gospel soloists can get a little bit out there, will you get given any sort of rein to do that kind of stuff, like choppy not choppy, I mean like tricky vocals?
Some of it is.
Some of it is, yep. You know what I'm saying, eh? I probably didn't ask that question very well.
I mean, gospel vocals to me it's soprano, alto, tenor.
Okay.
Right? Like normally 3-part.
Yep.
Then every now and then that will split to either 6, 5. You know what I mean? Like they might split into more harmonies. Then they come back. Or you have like unison octaves.
Yep.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. You know, unison octaves that then split into hearts. Or but the basics are the bass is the soprano, alto, tenor. That's the bass, and everything else is extra to that.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it's all governed by emotion. So it's whatever emotively fits the song.
Yep.
So it's like it's part of the instrumentation really, because it has to go with the feeling of what's happening in the song. Yeah, I don't know, explain it. Yeah, so normally there's 3 parts, and so in the song, say, there's one song, How Great Thou Art, and it starts with 3 parts, and then it goes by the end of the chorus, it's like in 6. It splits into 6 parts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, but that's because it builds to that.
Gotcha.
And then it comes back down again to an octave. Then it goes back to the 3. Then it goes into 6 again. But that's cool. Every song's different. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, just depends what the song needs. Plus, Marcia's like, she's not one for all the tricks and stuff like that. She's very solid singer. You know, like I love it. I love her voice. It's just, you know, she's a good storyteller. She's a storyteller singer. She tells stories, you know. The story's always more important to her, which I love. I love that. That's all my favorite singers in the world are good storytellers, you know. So it's the tricks. She does do riffs in that, but it's kind of like they're placed where they're supposed to be placed for the emotion of the song.
Understood.
Yep. As opposed to a lot of singers.
Show-off spot.
Yeah,
gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's so many
100%.
singers that are like that. It's just all like out the gate.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like, it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
We've gone
where are you going to go
notes,
now?
10 notes in like the first 2 seconds.
Oh, my phone making a funny noise on the machine there. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, so back to, so you've moved to Australia now.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Australia?
I wanted to do music. I knew I wanted. Well, I think my family were a bit like, "Oh, you're not going to make enough money off music," you know.
Okay.
And of course, you're not going to New Zealand. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
So, I wanted a break. And truth be told, I grew up in South Auckland. So I grew up, you know, once we're warriors, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. It sounds terrible, but I wanted a different life for myself. I didn't want to be caught in cycles. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to be a statistic.
Understood.
I wanted to give myself the chance to have a better life, a different life, not better, just different.
Yep.
Just feel normal, not part of a freaking movie, because it feels like it. You feel like this, you know, like I just wanted a different existence, you know. So I was just coming. I thought I would go to Australia for 2 years and see how it pans out. And so I did that. And then, but within 3 months of being here, I was already singing. You know what I mean? So I bumped into some boys that I used to go to school with, and they were DJing at the time. And then they would just get me up to sing at the club, with the DJ. And then from there, I started. From there, I was I had this girl group called Private Property back in the day. We did all originals and stuff. And then from there, I started doing cover bands, Then from there, I went to started my own. So I started Sweet As.
Yeah.
Me and my ex. So we started Sweet As. And then Sweet As is a brand in itself.
It
now.
is, yeah.
I don't even, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
just...
yeah.
So that Sweet As has gone really well. I think because I had little kids too. I did have a break from touring because I was touring a lot. I started touring before I had started Sweet As. I was lucky to get picked up for some tours, and I could have continued with that, but it just was too hard with the little ones. I already had little ones, and it was too hard.
So how old are the girls?
Mesa's 24.
24, yep.
And Bubba's 18. She
Okay.
just turned 18.
Okay.
And I was a young mum, you know.
Okay.
So I was like, I can take a break from touring. I'm so young already, I've got time to take a break, wait till they get a little bit older.
Yep.
And in the meantime, their dad, my ex, he's a musician too, singer too. So we just thought, look, we'll just start this cover band and we'll just make that something, to make money from, for now while our kids are little. We just didn't expect it to blow up so much.
Yeah.
It just blew up. But, and so that's cool. And so we did that. And then I remember it was 2014. I was saying to him, I think the girls are old enough now I can go back to touring, I just thought, I think. I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't doing tours before that, but I was just doing the smaller tours, like little stint tours, not full on tours.
Okay.
So end of 2014, I said to him, you know what? I reckon I can, go back to touring because touring's better money, and the girls are a bit older now, so we're good. So it's so funny. I swear, the power of manifesting things. I don't know what it is with me. As soon as I say, this is what I want, somehow it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So I said that, and I remember one of my friends, she had an album, Mahalia, she had an album, and Joe Bonamassa, he played on that album. There's a long story about how that all came about, but the short version is that she had this album, Betty Davis album, and he was playing guitar on that. And me and Jade were doing BVs for that with her. And then he was here in Australia and he played the gig with us. And from that gig, he asked us if we would like to go and do BVs for him. And like a lot of people say that. And we just go politely say, oh, yeah, that would be great. But you don't pin anything on it.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like you just appreciate that they've complimented you, but
Yep.
it's not always easy to do what they want to do, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So anyway, so that happened that year. He got us to do his tour. We started touring with him that year. This is 2015.
Yeah.
And what else did I do 2015? I did Daniel Johns' little mini tour, the one at
the Opera House.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I did that one.
Did you? Right.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yep.
That one I did that year. The girls and I also did Cold Chisel that year. And what else did happen that year? There was a few things, but those were the main ones from memory that stick out. And then since then, I've just been touring a lot, different things. So then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the girls and I also did Liam Gallagher. We did that one too. We did a lot. We've done a lot since 2015. I was constantly touring. And then COVID hit. That was 2020. And I got sent home early.
Okay. How
2
early?
weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because the COVID hit America before I hit here.
Oh, okay, right.
And I came home, and by the time I got home, I was into, what is it called when you at
isolation?
Yeah, self-isolation.
Self-isolation, right.
That's right.
Right.
I was like that for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that 2 weeks, they went into lockdowns here.
Yeah, right.
And so I was like, okay. So it was kind of cool. I just stayed home and cooked and hung out with my babies and,
Yeah.
And that's literally most of my poetry book was written in that time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was like, this is great because I just sit there and write poetry. And the whole Confection album was written through that lockdown too.
Right.
So I literally just wrote a whole album, Confection album and poetry book in that one lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because you're not doing anything. You're not rushing to the airport. You're not rushing to. And I was like, this is great. So literally that's what I did that whole lockdown. And then we kind of went to some sort of semi-normal, I don't know, it was so weird, the whole, So that all happened. And then since then, I mean, I've done a few tours. This year there's been the Marcia tour and then the Brand New Heavies one, which I'm so happy about. And I've just been doing the George Michael one, the orchestrated.
Oh, cool.
Do you know about that?
No, I don't.
It's an Australian one. It's, George Ellis. I love him.
Oh, the conductor.
Oh, I love him so much.
He's almost a superstar in himself.
He is so incredible.
I'd love to talk to him.
Oh,
yeah.
I should hook you up with him.
Oh, please do. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
because I absolutely adore him.
Oh, great.
I just love him so much.
Yeah.
And he's an incredible conductor, and it's his orchestra. And Victor Rounds, you know Vic.
Yeah.
Victor Rounds, he's the MD of the band.
Yep.
So there's the band, the core band, and then the orchestra, and then different singers. So normally it's me, Andrew De Silva, Glenn Cunningham. Who else is there? They have a few other ones that come and do they alternate the boys, and of course me. But I just do the duets with Andrew. And then they have Carmel and Joe Elms, Carmel Massetti and Joe Elms on the BBs. Yeah, it's great. It's incredible. It's like a big, massive production. But it's such an incredible show. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that's ongoing.
Yep.
And because it's such a big thing, we don't tour it, in one go. It's like it's sort of spaced out.
Okay.
Yeah, they space it out.
But you know the schedule beforehand?
Of course,
So it's like planned.
Say, for example, this month we have one, but it's next Sunday.
Yeah.
In Newcastle.
Okay.
And then there might be another 2 next month, and then there'll be like 3, and then you know what I mean? It
Right.
just
So
kinda,
so you know where they are in the book.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah.
but they've kind of spread out, and it's like an ongoing thing. But if anyone gets a chance to see that, it's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very good.
So otherwise I've been busy recording my EP.
Yes.
So I just finished recording my soul EP.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so happy. I recorded that at Declan Kelly's studio. Have
Yep,
you been there?
I have. I
It's so-
interviewed him there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I recorded
the
it
Nest.
there. Yeah, at
Yep.
the Nest.
Yep.
That's so cool.
It
I
is.
love it there. It's
Yeah.
just a vibe.
Yep.
I keep wanting to steal his baby though, but she's like our studio bubba.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. I'm really happy about that. So you'll have to come to my listening party.
Oh, man.
That album launch.
Can't wait. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the plan there?
Okay, so the plan is I have 2. I couldn't decide because the thing is I love writing, so I wanted to do. This is my first. Obviously, you know about my Confection project, which is a project I do with Josh Bigley. But this is the first time I've done my own. Like on my own solo project. So I was like, okay, I really wanted to do a soul album. But then I was like, I can't do a solo album without reggae because I grew up doing reggae, Polynesian. So I was thinking, what do I do? So I came up with this concept that I would do 2 EPs, 1 soul EP and 1 reggae EP, and together they would make an album.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm calling the EPs, both of them, I'm calling them Two-Faced.
Yep.
So one is Two-Faced Soul and Two-Faced Reggae.
Yeah.
And then the artwork is my face, half of my face on one
Yeah,
and half
yeah.
of my face on the other, and the artwork. So when you put the two EPs together, the covers, it makes one artwork.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
So the soul one I've just finished. So
Okay.
it's gone to mastering now.
Oh, it has. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So those, I'm really happy about that. So I wanted to record an organic, proper soul album.
Yep.
You know, live instruments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything kind of just done that way. You know. And so even when it goes to mastering, he's going to run it through tape and then
Yep.
bring it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. And I had Declan play drums.
Yep.
I had Adam on bass, Daniel March on guitar, and Robbie Wolf on keys. So it just sounds mighty.
Yeah.
And then I had my young loves sing BVs,
Awesome.
Mesa and Angel that you met tonight.
Yeah.
And I had some of my best mates and my family doing BVs, the boy BVs, you know, like Ricky Nefo, who is incredible. Have you ever met him yet?
I haven't met him, no.
Oh.
I know who he is.
Yeah, his voice is sublime. I love it. Don't get a big head, bro. Anyway, and he sings in a band. They have a trio called Mount Trio, and it's him and my cousin Sefo and another guy called Bauliasi. Anyway, so Ricky and Sefo by Bao. He's V-Tribe.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, my
yes.
cousin,
Yep.
he's in V-Tribe,
I've
the
done
lead
some
singer.
gigs with
He's the
V-Tribe.
youngest brother that sings.
Yeah, right.
So him and Ricky did a lot of the boy BVs on my album, except for, and Declan did some BVs too, and so did Leroy Jones. You know, you've met Leroy, right?
I haven't. It's funny you've mentioned Ricky and Leroy because they're two people that Josh mentioned the other night.
Yeah, well, how do you think he got onto them?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nah, they're my bros. I
yeah.
love them.
Yeah,
I love
awesome.
them. They're my bros. Yeah. So them two, they're incredible singers. Sefo's an incredible singer too. So is Bauliasi, the other. So if you ever get a chance, you should go and watch them. Mount Trio, they're really good. It's awesome, crazy concept. It's like three guitars and three vocalists. That's the whole thing.
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, it's great. You will love it, bro.
Great.
I promise you'll
Awesome.
love it. So so I was really lucky to be blessed with them, you know, and it sounds great.
Yep.
Sounds great. It's gone to mastering now. So I was really grateful to Deck too. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Just recording it and mixing it. So that's been good. So now I'm excited to do the reggae one.
Got all these things going on.
I know. So I've finished that one. So that's finished and I'm like, cool. It's got to go to mastering. I just got to get the artwork done. I'm hoping I can have the book, you know, ready to sell at the same time.
Yeah,
You know, that would, but, you know, you got to trust divine timing. Whatever happens. And in the meantime, once that gets sorted, I'm going to start recording the reggae one.
Okay.
Because I've already written most of the songs. I just have to record them.
Yep.
So that will be fun.
Would you change your band?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Specific reggae guys.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Have you chosen them already?
I'm still tossing it up.
Yep.
The soul one was easy. I knew it was going to be them.
Yep.
Plus, most of the songs I wrote with Daniel March and Adam Ventura, so they were always going to be there.
Yep.
And it made sense to use Deck.
Yeah.
And soul keys, Robbie Wolf. Come
Right,
on, who else are you going to? You know, he's so great. So I'm really happy with it. I can't wait for you to hear it.
Yeah. Cool. Can't wait.
It's mean. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it. I keep going. The boys always laugh at me because I was like, "Oh my God, it sounds mighty." And it's like, what is this mighty business? It just sounds mighty.
Just roll with it. It's mighty.
Yeah, I did do one song. I did do one song with Rafferty and Shane.
Yep.
It's just acoustic guitar and vocals, and Leroy. And so it's acoustic guitar. So Rafferty, man, how good is he?
Yeah, he's good.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous! So I wrote that one with Shane and Rafferty, but the recording is Rafferty on acoustic guitar, just acoustic guitar, and me on lead vocal, and Leroy, Ricky, and Declan on the BVs. It's awesome. I love it. It's really good.
Great.
So because I needed something acoustic for it, because So yeah, 6 tracks on that one.
Yep.
So I see how many. It was only supposed to be 5, but then I added that one, so now it's 6.
Right.
And then the reggae one will have about 5 or 6 too.
Cool.
So should be good.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Just going back to the kids, like before Mason and all the crew came back.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a young daughter that's looking like she's going to be getting into music.
Yeah.
And we both know what it was like for us.
Exactly.
Having opportunities. And I was telling you about the music club we used to have in our town where once a week we'd go and musicians would, it was like a little hub for us.
Yeah.
I've always been curious as to what that scene is like here in Sydney. And over the course of doing this podcast, I've talked to a bunch of people and we've sort of talked about this, but not really knowing.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting to is Sydney providing enough venues and opportunities and places to jam for kids like Mesa and the crew?
No, I mean, that's why they've created their own one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily, because we live in Marrickville and Lazy Bones is so great. That's our local. They know us all, know me and all my little tribe of young loves.
Yeah.
They know us all there. So, and when I do gigs there, they all get up and sing. And, so then it was just a natural thing, I think, to lead into them doing their own thing. So once a month, on the first Tuesday of each month, I think it is, they do a thing called Localise. You know, they're collectively. The collective is called Localise, and then they just obviously they all have their own things, but they just come together and do this thing together, and they do each other's originals at the gig, and then the last set they just jam, a bit like how they were jamming tonight. They're just jamming because you're right, they need that. They need somewhere where they can just jam, and they do that, and it's really cool. And I wish more people would come down. And just
maybe it'll build. We'll
a lot of young ones though are starting to come.
That's good.
Young ones are starting to come to their gig, which I think is great. I think it's important that our generation, like us, especially women, for the young women that are coming up, but across the board would be great. I think it's important that we lead by example, have a little bit more support for each other. I'm always going to everyone's gigs if I can, if I'm not working or if I haven't got something on, or, I'll go to someone's gig. Like I went to Ellie Mae's gig last night. Last week I went to watch Emily Williams. She's so great. Went to watch her gig. There was another band out there called Sir Archer. They had a gig that same night. There's, everyone. I just think it's important that our generation and, not just, kind of like those of us that are in the scene already and we're already working, just we should lead by example by supporting each other more.
Yep.
And then they see that, the generation coming through see that, and they're like, cool, we're kind of showing them how to be there for each other too. And not just that, but we should actually be more available to them. You know what I mean? Like for them to come to us and ask us things, just be more available to give advice. Or I know so many singers from, singers that are actually working, professional singers, working singers. These young ones, they come and try to talk to them and they're just like, pain. It's like, really? Like, you can't just give a little bit of your time. And if we can't be there, hold space for them, then how do you expect them to hold space for the next generation that comes through, which will be your daughter?
Yeah,
like say your kids. That's the next lot coming through.
Yeah, that's it.
And we also need to just be able to support each other, though. It's a crazy thing, but I'm just trying to change the narrative. But I can only do that.
You can't do it by yourself.
Well, I can only do by doing myself.
Yeah.
I can only be the example, and then hopefully others. It's something I talk about a lot to everyone. I'm just like, we need to, just need to like do better, be better examples, like support each other more so they see monkey see, monkey do. You know what I mean? So they see us supporting each other, they'll support each other, and it creates a better culture.
Yep.
Instead of this tall poppy thing that's going on, like, you know what I mean? Just create a better culture within our industry.
Yeah.
New Zealand's so good, everyone in New Zealand supports each other.
Yeah.
Our music gets played on the original music gets played on the radio.
Yep.
Everyone, the artists are played on, they get gigs on big gigs.
That's it.
Everyone supports each other. Over here, it's so difficult, I think. I don't know, that's just what I think. But I think we can change that narrative or try to, Anyway, he's hoping, right? Throw a penny into the wishing well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I agree with you supporting and, hopefully the kids sort of picking up on that. But the scene where I am, it's sort of top 40 covers bands and
I get it.
that kind of thing, and having played in those kinds of bands for most of my, I've got nothing against it. It's just what I did. I guess I wish there was more original music in places out where I am.
Yeah.
And because sometimes it's hard for me to get, out here to Marrickville on a weeknight.
Yeah, I understand.
So I guess that's where I'm coming from. But I mean, if there was more of a original sort of soul funk type scene out where I am, it would be great. But
I mean, I'm not adverse to doing covers. Like, obviously, I'm grateful that we're able to do. There's a thriving cover scene that you can do the covers and it pays the rent and puts. I mean, dude, Sweet as put food on the table.
Yeah, of course.
Clothes on my baby's back, shoes on their feet. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm not against doing covers.
No.
I still do cover gigs every now and then.
Yep.
I just would like to do more original gigs.
Yep.
Which is why I'm just like, okay, if I want to do that, I need to do create product, create my own original music, which is so much fun. I wish I'd done this earlier, and then that way I can just continue to do that and hopefully get more gigs doing that. I just wanted to finish it first. You know what I mean? Just finish my EPs first, and then I can start doing gigs once I've got product. You know what I mean? Like once I've got CDs to sell and stuff, that would be great. It'd be great. Like, not that nothing against covers at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, and still an honest living. You know what I mean? It's still an honest living. And I'll still, if I get strapped for cash, I'll still go and do it. I'll still go and do cover gigs, of course. What else am I going to do?
And you also mentioned, because you couldn't do the Joe Bonamassa tour this year because of
my visa.
That kind of thing, but, maybe that's next year.
Maybe, it depends. I'm not sure.
It all depends, yeah.
This all
right.
depends.
Yeah.
Nothing's concrete. You know what I mean? Like nothing, and that's our industry, though. It's just like that. I would like to do more original gigs. I've done some already. It's a vibe, and I'm really grateful that people come to that gig too. You never know. Like, you don't know if people will come to an original gig. And I remember while I was recording, when I started, just in the beginning when I started, before I started recording, I wanted to do them live to feel them out. But first, before I recorded them, it's a part of the process for me. I don't know, everyone's different, but for me, that's part of the process. So I did a few original gigs so I could play them live so I can kind of have a feel of, and it actually was a great, really helpful, because it meant that when I went to record them, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted it to sound like.
That's cool.
So when I did those shows, I didn't know if people would come to something like that, because I just feel like everyone's used to see me doing covers, and Confection, as you know, is more a studio project.
Yep.
It's mainly so I was really surprised when I'd pack out a venue, to come and do it with him. And I was like, this is great. It felt right. I was thinking, I'm supposed to be heading this direction, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you're going to have to come to a gig now, Bo.
Well, we're coming. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Well, Juanita Tippins, it's been a pleasure to sit down and talk and hear about all
Yeah.
the new projects and
Thank you.
also learn a little bit more about, your upbringing and
Oh, yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so glad we did it.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was probably not as articulate as if because we've had like so much to eat.
Oh, no,
and had a bit of a
you're
had a
great,
bit of a
mate.
tangi weto, a bit of a cry over the kids.
That was so
singing.
good. That just, it's, I mean, besides this conversation, it's something I'll never forget.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good, yeah.
See, that's my life. I mean, all the young ones come here, and I love it. I love that I love that I can be there for them, and they can ask me questions,
Yeah.
advice.
Yep.
If I can help them, I will. If I don't know what the answer is, at least I can point them in the right direction. I can say, okay, let's ask blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and they'll and find out. So you can figure out what your options are.
Yep.
Otherwise, I welcome it. I love when they're all here and everyone's jamming and writing songs, and
Yep.
the house is always really creative like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And what's cool from my side is, through COVID and with the podcast, having done so many of my interviews face to face, like most podcasts, it all went to Zoom and that kind of thing. So, for one, there's a bit of a disconnect there when you're looking at someone on the screen, but you also don't get, I was talking to Josh about this the other night too, you don't get the hang beforehand and you don't get the hang afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you're on, you do your thing and then it's off, it's done, it's gone. But, whereas something like this, I'll never forget it. That's what it's all about,
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad you got to. I just thought that would be part of it anyway.
Yeah.
Like gets a snapshot of my life right now.
Awesome.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It's great. They keep me on my toes.
No, that's good.
So I feel blessed,
Yeah.
It's good to be around them. And it's good it's nice to know that I can be a small part of what keeps them hungry to keep, keep being interested in doing music and expressing themselves and, it's so beautiful. I feel extremely lucky that I'm surrounded by it still, so it's great.
Yeah.
And a lot of the boys, like you met Lani as well.
Yeah.
She's an incredible bass player.
Yeah.
She's going to be so good. So the boys like Shane and Adam,
Yeah.
So when Adam's on tour with the Oils, she fills in. Well, I was like, yeah, you go and play with the uncles, She's really excited that she gets to play with the uncles.
That's awesome.
So I think it's good. I think more of us are doing our part to kind of embrace them in.
Yeah.
And they learn from us, we learn from them. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just one way.
Yeah.
But I remember, I like how we were talking about this before. You and I grew up like that,
Yep.
where we had the uncles and like aunties around, and you kind of learn from them and they learn from you, and it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's as what's the word? As common now as it was when we were younger. So I think me and the boys are trying to do that a little bit. Yeah, just kind of have that kind of space for them.
That's so cool.
It's good. It does make a lot of difference, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. You're going to have to come down.
For sure.
Come to more jams.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks,
Yeah.
Neat. Talk to
All
you soon.
good, bro.
All
Love
right.
you.
Catch you. Love you too.
Bye.